Legends. I'm not Cerberus, welcome back to my channel, and today we have another unscripted video. So if I balls things up, then that's why, but it shouldn't be too difficult because it is just looking at the patch notes. We got these patch notes on the 29th of September. Unfortunately, we don't have access at the time to when the patch is going live, nor do we have access to the update size. Those have been withheld from us for the time being. As always, we'll go through the details of the patch notes, and then I'll give my summarization at the end. So yeah, let's have a look, shall we? We obviously got a tease on Monday for what the campaign ship is, and as many people would have expected, it's the USS Benham, which, controversially, she had been brought down from Tier 9 from PC to Tier 6. We don't know the statistics for the ship just yet, but I would imagine she would have received some fairly hefty nerfs. The Italian cruisers are now fully researchable, with Amalfi being the top of the tree at Tier 7. We also have the Italian cruisers getting their exhaust smoke generator, which, for those that don't know, exhaust smoke is a smoke stream which works whilst you've got at full speed, so you don't need to stop and sit there in your smoke stream, but it does have a lower duration. Soviet destroyers are getting some buffs, and there's a new feature: you'll be able to ping the map at long last. And we also have the Halloween event, of course, and a few other new ships too. Let's take a look at the campaign first. So it is going to be an 80 milestone campaign and features the usual variety of rewards. So without the admin backing, completing the campaign will net you 60 common boosters, 6 each of the Type 1, Type 2 and Type 3 camouflages, 8 Rust Bucket camouflages, which is the new event camouflage, 3,000 global XP, 235,000 commander XP, 250,000 credits, 10 promotion orders, 1 insignia, 1 accommodation, 7 days of premium account, 250 doubloons, 1 big crate, 1 Halloween 20 crate, 4 common containers, 1 American commander container, and the patch symbol and background. Total value of the rewards without out-of-the bracket is 14,362 doubloons. The additional rewards for those who are going to be purchased out of the bracket, it'll be available for 2,500 doubloons as usual. You'll be able to get 35 rare and 25 epic boosters, 10 each of the Type 1, Type 2 and Type 3 camouflages, 16 Rust Bucket camouflages, 13,000 global XP, another 140,000 commander XP, 1.35 million credits, 20 promotion orders, 3 insignias, another 2 accommodations, 2 big crates, another 4 Halloween crates, plus the T6 destroyer Benham. Total value of the rewards with the arbiter backing is 50,000 and 52 doubloons. So what makes Benham special? She has 16 torpedo launchers, 2 launchers of 4 per side, so it's essentially an upscaled Clemson, or a Clemson on drugs. As mentioned, the Halloween containers are a special event container for this update. They'll be able to drop rewards to the unique Halloween commanders, which all specialise in destroyers, 1 each for US, Germany and Soviets. There'll also be special Grade 4 Halloween skins for the Benham, Z23 and Ognevoi, and there'll also be a special event currency which will be used for the actual Halloween event itself. That'll be available later on in the update, and you'll be able to get yourself the Tier 6 Premium Destroyer Ognevoi. It should be noted, however, that whilst the camouflages do reroll, so if you obtain one, it'll reroll and then pull another one for you, the commanders don't. So it is possible for you to get duplicate commanders from the crates, so do bear that in mind when you're buying them. The campaign itself will run until the 9th of November and has 80 milestones, so you've got 5 weeks to get it done. And it is going back to the weekly Havoc, so you're not going to be able to roll over the weekly missions to the next week. You're going to need to do them as and when they appear. The hard mode missions will also be able to use the legendary tier ships. However, you can use the low tier ships if you wish to do so the choice is yours. But do bear in mind there is one particular task that requires you to hit the enemy with 10 torpedoes in a single battle. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do that in a legendary tier ship because we don't have any legendary tier ships with torpedoes at the moment. So, let's touch upon the introduction. The Amalfi will be available to research at Tier 7 for the Italian cruise line, and as will the rest of the line will be available to research. Amalfi herself is quite fast, with accurate 200-300 guns mounted in 3 triple turrets. She does have the same torpedoes as the Zara, which means snail's pace, slow, fairly crappy damage, but very long range, and very stealthy. The launch angles are said to be quite good, but this is Wargaming, they big up their ships and they sometimes don't actually reflect the facts, but hey, whatever, we'll gloss over that. Amalfi does apparently have one of the biggest hit points in her class, and she's also one of the fastest ships there, but she has fairly weak armour, so yeah. The exhaust smoke generator consumable, which replaces the standard smoke generator that they currently have, will be available on all the Italian cruisers of the tech tree, starting at Montecocoli, and they'll have 2 charges each, right up to Amalfi. Soviet destroyers are getting some buffs. These buffs will be effective on all the tech tree destroyers. There are some buffs which go right the way through, so I'm going to list those now rather than have to repeat myself for the same sentence 6 times. So all 6 tiers, so the tier 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, will all get decreased chance for steering gears and engine modules to be critically hit, and they also all get the damage control party duration time increased from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. Starting with the Tursky, the gun range is improved from 8.1 kilometers to 8.9 on the A hull and 8.4 to 9.2 for the B hull, with the rudder shift being decreased from 3.6 to 3.3 for A hull and 2.6 to 2.3 for B hull. The default set of torpedoes will have a speed boost from 45 knots to 49 knots, and the upgraded torpedoes will benefit from a speed boost of 49 knots to 54. Looking at Izyaslav next, her gun range is improved by 0.9 kilometers for both hulls, so it goes up to 9.4. Rudder shift is decreasing by 0.4 for the A hull and 0.3 for the B hull, down to 2.4. Default torpedo speed is increasing from 51 knots to 56 knots, and the upgraded torpedoes are increasing from 52 to 57. So this is actually going to be a fairly standard feature. All the torpedoes from this point forward are all getting a 5 knot buff, so I'm not going to keep repeating all that. I'll say what the actual speed is going to be. Additionally, from this point forward, starting at Podvoisky, all the A hulls and B hulls are getting a 1 kilometer buff to their gun range. So Podvoisky, her gun range is improved up to 10.2 kilometers with a 4.1 second rudder shift on the A hull and a 2.9 rudder shift on the B hull. Torpedo speed is increasing to 69 and 70 knots for stock and upgraded torpedoes respectively. On to Gnevny, her gun range is going to be 10.6 for both hulls, with the rudder shift being decreased down to 5.5 for A hull and 3.9 for the B, with her torpedoes being 70 knots and 75 knots respectively for each of the upgrades. Taking a very quick look at Minsk, her guns are going up to 10.8 kilometers for both hulls. Her rudder shift is decreasing to 4.6 on the A hull and 3.3 on the B, with the stock torpedoes going 75 knots and the upgraded torpedoes hitting 70 knots. Tashkent, she's going to be able to hit 10.9 kilometers with both hulls, with 7.6 second rudder shift on the A hull and 5.4 second on the B hull. Her default torpedo speed is increasing from 65 knots to 70 knots, with her upgraded long range torpedoes being increased from 55 knots to 60 knots. Tell you something, Wargaming, you haven't made a dog's breakfast of these torpedo speed for the Russian destroyers. They're all over the place, like seriously, what is going on? There's no consistency at all. Some of them go up to 75 knots, some of them go up to 70 knots, some of them go up to 60 knots. There's no clear iteration. That's going to make it really difficult for people to work out how fast a particular ship's torpedoes are going to go. Are they going to be faster than the previous one or not? But I digress. This year's special Halloween event is a little bit different from last year's one. It is not a scenario. Instead, it is team deathmatch of 4 teams of 3 facing off each other to the last man standing. The ships of choice will be special destroyers for the game mode, and they won't have smoke screens, and they will also be always detected. You'll also receive the choice of 3 fully ranked up event commanders to man your vessels, and the event is scheduled to begin on the 19th of October. Sadly, the information on the actual patch notes we've been provided is very limited, so you'll have to wait until the 15th of October to get more information released by Wargaming. We have a handful of minor balance adjustments to look at as well. Firstly, we'll look at the Henry Hyde's Alidad skill, which has been buffed slightly. The guaranteed ricochet angle has been halved from 1 to 4 degrees to 0.5 to 2 degrees depending on the rank. In addition, the tech tree British destroyers of tier 5, 6 and 7, so that's Icarus, Jervis and Lightning, will lose access to the propulsion mod 2. This is because Wargaming have deemed that the ships are too effective in situations where speed is of the essence, and as such they needed to take some kind of action, but they didn't want to change too much. So those of you who have equipped the propulsion mod to your Icarus, Jervis and Lightning, it will simply be removed from the aforementioned ships and will be placed in the inventory for you to be able to use on a different ship entirely. Take a quick look at the other improvements and changes. As I said earlier on, you can now highlight a map. When used, it will ping the map and also display an alert in the battle log, letting your team know an area of strategic importance. In addition, users on the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro who are familiar with the radar animation will be pleased to note is going to be featured on all radar equipped ships. Hidden amongst the patch notes, there is also a special code which can be used at the wowslegends.com/code-redeemer website to redeem 12 Regia Marina camos and 1 day premium. The code is Papa 2 Tango 7 Yankee 8 Zulu Tango 2 November. Again, that is P2T 7Y8ZT2N. The ships which can be found in the big blue container has now been rotated, and you can now find Grafspee, Dunkirk or Kidd in there. Quickly looking at the bug fixes, Gisano's rear turret has been fixed. It'll now operate at the same angles on both sides. Farsight skills proximity components sometimes failed to prevent torpedo damage, so that's been fixed. And also a rare bug which involved torpedoing a friendly ship, which was sometimes counted towards the mission progress. If I'd have known that, I'd have had a field day. Another bug where division members could sometimes enter 2 different battle modes, that's been resolved, as well as a game crash which happens when players receive a division invite. In addition, the angles for Edinburgh's secondary guns have been reduced because for some strange reason they were able to fire through the hull. I'm not going to go through the rest of the bug fixes because there's a handful of others, but we'll quickly move on to the premium ships. So there's another 3 premium ships coming in addition to Benham. As mentioned earlier on, there is the Ognevoi, which is a tier 6 Russian premium destroyer, and that'll be available in the Rust and Rumble store tab once the special event is live, and that'll be available for tabs, which is a special currency which drops from the event containers and for completing the event missions. There is also a British tier 6 heavy cruiser Cheshire, so for those who are familiar with PC, she is a tier 8 armed with 3 twin 234mm guns over there. She's coming at tier 6, so I'd expect some armor nerfs and probably a couple of other bits and tweaks. And the last ship is the American tier 5 battleship West Virginia. Note this is West Virginia 41 from PC, not West Virginia 44 from World of Warships Blitz, disappointingly. So yes, that is the patch notes for the October update. My thoughts on the notes. Benham, I'm fully expecting to be a fairly big disappointment. Bringing any ship down 2 or even 3 tiers, there is a certain expectation within the community, and one thing that seems to be happening more and more lately from this particular development team is that they're taking great big turds from the Eiffel Tower all over the community's expectations, and it's starting to get a little bit frustrating. The event just sounds like one of the events from PC last year. Oh, I can't remember what it was called. Was it last year's one or was it the one before that? I can't remember what it was called. It was basically just super fast torpedo beats. It sounds very similar to that, but we'll have to wait and see. Ognevoi, well, it's another case of a tech tree ship coming as a premium ship. I'm getting increasingly frustrated at Legends because of this. There is more and more ships that are appearing that should be tech tree ships that are coming as premium ships to grab some money. And it's starting to feel like a money grab. And the fact that the ship is locked behind an event has me a bit concerned, because last time it was a Sashio, and that thing was obscenely difficult to get hold of. Campaign, the rest of the campaign, well, it just looks fairly standard run-of-the-mill stuff, nothing special there, although the legendary option is certainly welcome. It gives some it gives some use to the legendaries rather than just being money sinks at the moment. Russian destroyers finally getting some buffs might make them worthy competitors to the United States and the French as gunboats, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm not entirely convinced that the torpedo speed is going to make that much of a difference, given how close the majority of those ships have to get anyway, and if you're missing from that close range, then there's something seriously wrong. My personal thought is a turret range increase and a turret traverse speed increase would have been more welcome for those ships, but as I say, we'll have to wait and see how they fare. As for the Nerfs Destroyers, I'm fairly indifferent about that because I don't run the propulsion mod anyway. I use steering gears, so it's a null moot point for me. And I don't use Alidad either, so again, that's another moot point. Finally, getting map pinging is going to make some people happy. Personally, I could take it or leave it. I find the map ping spam in World of Tanks to be very annoying and very frustrating. And the same can be said in World of Warships PC as well. So, yeah. I'm not entirely certain what to think on that, but at least they've actually put something in which the community has been requesting for quite some time. Now they just need to pull the figures up their asses and get the armor viewer and the more detailed statistics ready, which have been demanding since Alpha, which is more than 2 years ago now. But I digress. At least they're trying to make some kind of effort, and obviously COVID-19 is not helping the situation. My only other concern is that this update doesn't add anything particularly new, and we've got yet more commanders to add to our 63 other ones that we already have. What's that going to make? That's going to make 66 commanders in total. Good luck trying to get them all upgraded. But yeah, all in all, I think it's a very neutral set of patch notes. I'm also a little bit concerned that Cheshire is a tier 6. That's been dropped 2 tiers again. That thing on PC has a really large citadel, and its only saving grace is 25mm bound stern armor, which she gets on PC. I'm not convinced she's going to have that in Legends. I think she's going to have the same 16mm that every other tier 6 cruiser has, which means that citadel is going to be punched straight through by every battleship she faces. West Virginia being a tier 5, well, it's another down-tier tech tree ship masquerading as a competitive premium. So yeah, and again, it's as if they haven't learned anything from PC, because West Virginia, people don't want the West Virginia for being a crappier Colorado. People want the West Virginia to be the California sister kind of thing. But I digress. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I'll be sure to read them, and I'd be interested to see what everyone else is thinking of it. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed this video and you found it informative and helpful, please do leave a big thumbs up and click that subscribe button. It helps the channel greatly. Let's get those numbers bumping and ticking along nicely. In the meantime, thank you all for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.